I would like to introduce our next speaker. I would like to introduce our next speaker. I think I'm going backward. Let me see what's happening. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm going backward. I'm supposed to be going forward. Okay, I think I know what happened. Sorry about this. Okay, right. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Valentine. I hope you are all enjoying our masterclass today on mindset for transforming your love life, your relationship, friendship, your family, your marriage. And now we are just encouraging you to get better and also to learn. So now we are going to invite Reverend Professor Akpabio. Okay, and Professor Akpabio by profession is an electrical engineer and member Association of Supervisory and Executive Engineers of London, AMSEE. Professor Akpabio is also the professor of theology and biblical studies. He is the fellow association of Christian theologians, which is FACTS, and fellow College of Chaplaincy and Psychology, Nigeria, FCCP. Professor Akpabio is also the chairman and the National Executive Council Association of Christian Theologians. He's also the provost, the World Harvest Bible College and Seminary, Calabar, CRS, Nigeria. Professor Akpabio is also the general overseer of Kingdom Builders Ministry, ICN. Professor is also the president and visionary of Ministerial Consultancy Network and also a licensed marriage counselor and teacher on marital issues. Professor Reverend Akpabio is also the head of administration of World Organization of Ambassadors, African Chancellery, WOA, and also an international and continental speaker and trainer and teacher and mentor in several places to all many people, and also in conferences and seminars. He's also the member of Bible Research Institute, MBRI, and theological scholar and book writer, authors of many, many books. My own mentor and papa, a child of God and minister of the gospel, who is called to teach, to preach, to share his wealth of knowledge, especially on marriage, because he has really experienced of marriage for almost 40-something years. And he's also leading people to take their own destiny and fulfill their purpose on earth. He said he has a privilege, an accepted speaker of Y.Y.C.I International. However, he is the patron and advisory board member of Y.Y.C.I International, United Kingdom. So on this note, let me welcome Reverend Professor Akpabio from Nigeria to come and share with us his wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and many, many years of experience. I can guarantee you that by the time you've finished listening to him and you understood everything being said or some of it, and you apply it to your relationship, either with love, your friends, and your marital life, and even with your family, I can guarantee you that there will be transformation. So sit tight, take your note and pen with the active listening, and listen to Reverend Professor Akpabio. And please, prepare your questions, because questions clarify what you've listened to. And you want to come out of this masterclass with better understanding. Remember, wisdom is the principal thing. And in all our getting, we get understanding. So for you to gain better understanding and allow your relationship to be transformed, then you will have your peace of mind. And your peace of mind will extend to your family, your neighbors, your society, and even in the nation. So as we celebrate Valentine's Day today, I welcome Reverend Professor Akpabio to share with us his principles of transforming marriage. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much to every one of us who have spoken and to all of us who are listening. I want to thank the Queen for this privilege and this time. Some should have said today is Love Day, so let us decide to go for love. But I think this is the best way of expressing our love to our people, by making them know what they need to know. So you are welcome. I decided today to actually, because I know in the next one I will engage, to wait and hear everybody. But sorry, my last sister, you will talk. One day I will hear you. I say, God bless all of you in the name of Jesus Christ. I want to continue from where I stopped last time, which the network had a problem. And my concern is the mindset marriage. I will just briefly advise the young people, because when we talk about marriage, I know even we don't want them to be in this place, they are listening to us. So if I talk only to the married and not to the unmarried, then I am not all that making it very fine. I want us to remember that I mentioned last time that marriage is an intimate personal union where a man and a woman consent to live together in a lifelong relationship of mutual love and acceptance. And that relationship is to be regulated by the word of God and to be nourished by sexual relationship. When we have the greater and the deeper or bigger understanding of that as marriage, I say also that as somebody that have given up into this marriage issue, I feel that we classify marriage. So as a quick reminder, I told us that I classify marriage, number one, as an institution where we learn from one another. I said apart from that, that it is a calling. And if it's a calling, everyone must be able to fulfill the purpose of what the calling is all about. And from the calling, I'd say that marriage is also a union. I mentioned that it is a spiritual union, is a legal union, is a religious union. By religion, is bound by the word. As legal, it is actually bound by what the law of the society is all about. And from union, we look at it that marriage also is a link. We link one another. Sometimes I get bothered because one day I was doing wedding and I asked the people that I pity women more than men on the wedding day. They asked me why. You see, when a woman leaves the home and is following a man, it is only going to see the man brother, the man sister, the man mother, the man father, the man. And the woman is only coming alone. And the parents who came with her will only leave her to the people and go away. And she's now entering into a place that if not a good linking, she might enter into trouble. So marriage is a link. And when we understand it, we know the better link. Men should know how they confirm and make this link to be. And to some of us who were not there, say marriage is a sacrament or an activity. We must do something to make marriage be what it should be. As a revision, I say marriage is a decision to stay. Some people say, I cannot tolerate. I don't want to be there. But when you decide to do it, you will do it. And we say marriage is a discovery where we discover the thing that we need to discover. Marriage is friendship. Marriage is partnership. Marriage is commitment. And I told us that marriage is a covenant. And when there is covenant, there must be a people that decide to work. Covenant is made by two people that must actually be ready in order to obey what the covenant terms said. I was about to tell all the, because we are talking about marriage, to tell all the undeniable facts that every man and woman must know. Because sometimes we say, when two gather together, they become one. Sometimes it takes time to become one. I have said that in my book, The Battle of Supremacy in Marriage, I've stated 15 stages in marriage. And some marriage break at the second stage. So because of that, we must know this very clear. I say number one, that everyone in marriage relationship is a unique entity. Let every man hear me. Let every woman hear me. Is a unique entity who maintains his or her individual autonomy, right to do what he wants to do without listening to others. The woman has that tendency. The man has that tendency. It's a unique entity. There are certain things she may not decide to step down. There are certain things the man may not decide to step down, no matter the preaching. But it is when we understand what marriage is all about that we can really make it go well. An entity we feels he or she is doing the best, not because he's doing the right. You know, when we talk about crisis, we have intrapersonal crisis and we have interpersonal, especially the intrapersonal relationship and interpersonal crisis, where it is within you that you are affected. So as we know that, let us know in marriage why they have some problem in the home of adjustment is because the man feel I am an entity. The woman feel I am an entity, and for that I may not succumb. The other person must submit to me. But as we study certain things we are going to look at today, we'll see that it will help us to lay down our arms in order to see how things can go. The second fact, which is undeniable, is that human conduct, personal behavior, and individual uniqueness is fueled and boosted by temperamental differences. Each and every one of us have our temperamental differences. Psychology has made us to know that human beings are divided into four. First of all, two, and secondly, four. When we talk about the sanguine, the melancholy, the phlegmatic, and also the choleric. And these are temperament, and we fall into each of them. No two persons can be the same. A temperament of choleric may not be the temperament of a phlegmatic. And so when they come into the marital home, they also will be influenced by the temperament. And if a man or a woman want to really do the best in the marriage, is to know my temperament differences, know my wife's temperament differences, and we can now be able to blend. And when we do that, you see that marriage will not be a difficult thing of thinking that I cannot adjust. We can actually adjust. And there is one thing we ought to remember, that there is inborn life pride in both men and women. That ego, I am a man. I am the head of the house. And the other one say, I'm a woman. I am even the heart of the house, or even whatever of the house. When we understand those differences, it will help us. And number 3 undeniable fact I want us to know as we want to talk about marriage, because it has to do with a man and a woman from different backgrounds, is that every man has a safe ego to protect. Every man has safe ego to protect. And every woman, we say, have the controlling attitude or power to show up or live daily. Women seem to have a controlling attitude. Men have to boost on their ego. And so you see, when a man is saying this, a woman would also know it seems to be as a kind of controlling. And when men don't know this, and it is a part of them, they don't force it. It's a part of life. They may not make well. So as we understand this, it will make us to know what to be and to do. I believe strongly, and I teach strongly, that 2 people, a husband and a wife, can stay together throughout life without quarrel, without problem, without trouble. Because when we know what we should know and do what we should do, we'll see it all will be all over. And the last undeniable fact I want us to know is that self-pride is a conceptual virus that is lifted. If we allow it to be, it can destroy a lot of things. It's a conceptual virus. Self-pride. Doesn't he know I'm educated? Doesn't he know I am this? I have that money. I read again for what I'm saying. That self-pride is a conceptual virus that is lifted up because of who one is, the position he or she holds, the extent of which he is educated, and the people of who she feels she's contented with. So when we know these things, it will now help us to know that if these are the undeniable facts, how do we live together in the home? And when we understand that, it will help us dearly. But to those of us who are not married, I want to say, as we are going to go into marriage, because of what we are, I tell every unmarried person, be careful of these principles and theory of courtship. This issue of courtship have made a lot of people to go the way they should not go, to do what they should not do. Sometimes when we want to look at the story of courtship, people will say, study the man, study the woman, know what it is. But I keep saying, there are some areas of people's life that they cannot bring it out because they know. If they bring it out, that person will not marry me. And so they hide it. In many years, the thing will come out to be. So the issue of courtship must be carefully looked into because it's not the best. Sometimes we look at courtship of wooing the woman and wooing the man. You show something, you get money, carry money in order to trap this girl or to trap this lady to marry. And when the person comes into the full house, you will not actually be able to do that. There's one human psychology. You say, we crave for what is not our possession. And then we try to spend all the money to get it. But when we get it to us, we disdain it and forget about it and start looking for another one. That's one of the problems in marriage. That when people started, they long for the girl, they long for the man, and when the man becomes the personal property, when the woman becomes the personal one, they will just forget about it and say, let's forget about this. It's not an issue. Like one of the books I've told the girls, don't allow a man to let you do this. And I think I should mention, because we are talking about the mentality, having a mindset of transforming marriage. If our parents make mistake in their marital time, the people of today should not make mistake. I said in that book that there are 10 things a girl should not, a woman should not allow a man to let her do before marriage. Number 1, making him to stop seeing the family. Who will tell you, don't look at the family, don't tell your mother, don't tell your father, don't do that. If you are a girl and a lady listening to me, don't allow any man in your time of courtship to tell you do this. Because when he cut you off from your parents, he wants to woo you into himself and enforce certain things that you may not. There are sometimes a girl can confide in the mother. This is what they are telling me to do. Never you allow a man to stop you from seeing your family. Number two, never you allow a man to switch religious or belief because he want to marry you. Leave that one here. We'll settle about religion. Leave church here. You have seen today, many people, those they were not in church because they want to marry a girl from the church. They will say, no, forget about that. Don't mind me. I will turn to your church. And when they marry, they return back to their court. Never you allow anybody, because of the sake of marriage, you say, let me switch religion, switch this or switch that. When you know that thing will not be able to help you, stop it. Number three, never you allow a man to have physical intimacy without protection with you. And that is for those who don't even know what they should know about God. Because when you allow God to take over, the issue of sin and sexual relationship will not even come there. Never you forget your dreams. Don't allow any man that want to marry you make you forget your dreams. You wanted to go to school. You wanted to have a business. You wanted to establish something. That have been your dream. And a man say, forget about it. When you enter the house, you will do your dream. Remember, when you enter the house, the first thing will be you are looking for a child. The next thing will be you are looking for settlement. The other one will be you are looking for the care of the family. And your dream may die. Therefore, I advise young people that want to marry, because men are ready to do this and make you forget about your dream. I'll tell you, never give up your dreams for a man. Do whatever you wanted to tell them. I will marry you, but let me fulfill this. We've seen most of the time when a child comes, school will not say, well, school, you will go after childbearing. My dear, when you're in the school, your children are crying in the house, and the husband is looking for food, your head will not be steady to read again. Therefore, never allow a man to make you forget about your dream. The next one is never allow a man to have a baby from you before marriage. Never allow a man to have a child from you before marriage, because that is a deposit of deceit, and it will affect you in future. There are sometimes that a child and the father and or the mother and the daughter will grow up almost the same age. He said, this was my school age child. No, be prepared to be a mother. Put everything in place so that you can be a mother. Never allow that to happen. You know, kids are not just accessories. Remember this, kids are not just accessory that goes with relationship. They are a huge long-term commitment activity. Therefore, spend time to have a child. Don't make anybody to say until you are pregnant. So one man told me, he said, let me tell you, I don't want to pray two prayers. I don't want to pray prayer to have a wife and to pray prayer to have a child. So if I have a wife, he must give me a child before I marry. Those are the senses in men. And these are some practical issues that we in the marriage council, we have come to see, and we say, don't allow that to happen. Number 6, never allow any man to change who you are. You are who you are, don't change. To change who you are is to help you to fake the whole thing. You were not talking, you start to talk. You were so calm, you start now to make. You were so rowdy, and then you are, no, be who you are. Let the man see you who you are and accept you who you are. That would be a better thing as you go on. And I say, never allow a man to stop you seeing your friends. I don't mean you have ex-friend, because some people say, I still have my person to marry, but I have to go to my ex-boyfriend, ex-boy this, ex that. All these ex things, ex means back, that's he's cutting off. Therefore, what you need to do, make sure you maintain your lifestyle. Because one thing I know, when you keep friendship together, what you may not be able to do, the next person can help you to achieve it. Never allow any man to make you be more of a girl than being a mature lady. Every time I want you to be baby girl, especially these few days. I say, baby, sweetie, honey, and all that. So baby is always baby. Never allow a man to make you be like that, because even the men want mature girls, mature ladies whom they can go along with. Never allow a man to let you have abortion before marriage. Never allow a man to make you have abortion before marriage. because it's destructive. In the sight of God, it's not okay. And you may not know whether that was the only seed you were to have in that family, and you abort that child, and you may stay there without a child. And when that happened, that man will go and marry another person. Never allow a man to do that. And finally, I want to tell you, as a tip to help you, never allow a man to force you to stay when you are really wanting to leave. That is to say, you come to discover along this time of courtship, those who believe courtship, that this marriage is not going to work. We say, no, it will be better. It will be better. It will be better. Never allow a man to do that for you. When you are convicted before engagements, before coming into the reality of what you are doing, that it may not be okay, back out and tell the person it's okay for me. That's the tip I wanted to tell those who are not married, so that I can now go into the aspect of the married ones. I'm trusting as we go, the issue of courtship, the issue of dating, the issue of sit out. Let us sit out and talk. Let us discuss. Human being is human being. And everyone has a self-preserving instinct when he will not allow somebody to know the other bad side of him, only to get what he's getting now. So when we come into that, and we have heard about that undeniable fact about marriage, there's something else we need to go up with. And that is, if you want to marry, you must decide which type of marriage are you marrying. We have said about the classes. There are two major aspects of marriage today: a godly marriage and a general marriage, which is traditional. A godly marriage and a traditional way of marrying. You can marry 3 women or men at the same time, no problem. You can go into what you are doing, which is not godly. It's not approved by the Bible. You just do the tradition of the family. This is what tradition do. You pregnant 3 girls and you marry them as you like. A brother can marry a sister and all those things that are coming up. Which kind of marriage? If you want to have a success in marriage, you must decide on which one. But if I am to suggest that every one of us should have to look on the aspect of a true godly marriage, this is the one I approve to all, I provide to all, and I tell all, because it has 10 major benefits. What do we mean by a godly marriage? Or let me start with the other traditional marriage. You go in and you can get out anytime. You don't have any, the parents can wake up and take you away. You can decide to back out. You can decide to stay. That's general marriage. And people go in and come back 2 days, they marry 2 years. Somebody cannot marry up to 4 years. The next thing they have divorced. That is my ex-father. That's my ex-friend. That's my ex-dad. It's not correct. Let's come to the quality of a godly marriage. I say this: if you decide to stay and wait and ask the Lord to do it, which I'll tell you how to do it now, a godly marriage, number one, is guided by the fear of God and human empathy and consideration. Any marriage that is not guided by the word of God also is not protected by humans' empathy or sympathy, and is not actually enforced by human consideration. It's not there at all. That man may not consider you after marrying you. That woman may not consider you after marrying you. So a godly marriage is based on the fear of God. Before anybody does anything, the fear of God is there. That's where that Ephesians chapter 5 verse 21 comes in. Submitting yourself one to another in the fear of God. That's a godly marriage. I want to say, are you enjoying a godly marriage? Because that's the only one that brings the fear of God. Another aspect of a godly marriage is that it is all based on, is sustained by genuine loving and committed will to better the condition of another person. And that's supposed to be. Is connected, is ruled, is guided by a living conscience. You know, one thing I've seen, many people have no conscience in marriage. For a man to carry the hand and slap the wife, no conscience. For a woman to plan to poison the husband, no conscience. And it is only in godly marriage, that you can see that there will be a conscience. Somebody will know what I'm doing. God will not permit you. God will not like you. God will not do that. And it is a godly marriage that is void of all this courtship and dating and all this that can come in. When God decides to give you a man or a woman, he knows that it will be best for you. Number 3 thing about a godly marriage is that godly marriage is sustained by genuine loving and commitment to do to better the condition. You see, it's not a boasting that a man will say, after all, I am the one who sponsor you in the university. I'm the one who do this. Those are boasting. That is not a godly marriage. A godly marriage don't count all you spend for the woman or for the man. All you know is the better condition of one another, and that could help. A godly marriage is a marriage that is regulated by the word of God and heavenly consciousness. Those of us who are married now, do we think beyond this life? Do we think into the aspect of the heavens? Heavenly consciousness. I do everything with my wife because I know it can affect my heavenly work. Do you remember the Bible said that men and women should stay together in their marriage so that their prayer may not be hindered, because there is something ahead of us. Sometimes you see people quarrel, and they go to church and they start to pray and they start to sing songs and they start to do it. God don't hear that. It is only a godly marriage that's going to encourage and help us to be. And I introduced to us that if you really want a godly marriage, look at this principle and what it is, and you can share it with your partner. Let's go in this way. This is the one that can help us. A godly marriage, I say here, is empowered by united force, togetherness, and one flesh concept. A godly marriage is empowered by united force. We agree together. You sing a song, the more we work together, the happier we'll become. In united force, togetherness, and a one flesh concept. What do I mean by the one flesh concept? I take my wife as my part, and I live together to make sure that it goes. For these 46 years or 47 years in our marriage, we take each other as a part of us, and we go and move like that. So you cannot even see the difference. Then we go. You see 47, 48, 49. All this is what we are talking about. That when there is a united force, I want to encourage all of us. If our marriage will mean anything, let there be a united force. One man goal is not the best. Nigeria failed the football, or somebody can succeed in the football because this one will pass to the other one pass to the other one. If somebody wants to take the goal from the beginning to the end, somebody else will block the way. Let us learn that in marriage, that we need one another to survive. A godly marriage also, it makes the partners to have no reason of abuse. A godly marriage don't give partners any reason for abuse of one another. No reason for abuse, no reason for suspicion, and no reason for reaction in an ungodly and unfriendly manner. We are friends. We come together to
Yes, we are listening attentively. Wow, powerful, powerful teaching. Please invite your friends to join us.
A godly marriage will shape. Husband will be accusing wives, will go like that because the conscience of the tradition. As we say, let it be that we see that a godly marriage makes partners not to don't any reason to abuse one another. See your head, see your nose. I even decided to go and marry you. I even decided to come and stay. If you say that, know that your marriage is not godly. You need to ask God to help you. This is what marriage ought to be. And number 7, I say, a godly marriage gives partners room to be real in their love, to be bound together, and to touch the innermost heart of one another. That's the ultimate of love and marriage. That when the man can touch the innermost heart of the wife, and the wife can touch the innermost heart of the woman, you see there is going to be a freeness that you do nothing to hurt. You will take care of it. In Songs of Solomon, he said, let's guide against the foxes that eat our land, because our land is tender. Our marriage is tender. A godly marriage is the answer to a corrupt marital experience today. And not only that, that when we talk about this, I'm still saying that a godly marriage make partners to consider each other first before taking any action. It will make you remember to consider the other one first. If I do that, if I say that, how will she feel? How will I feel? How will it go on? And a godly marriage, in godly marriage, everyone within the marital tie works on building each other for a better tomorrow. A godly marriage will help everyone in the marriage, the husband, the wife, the children, to agree together to work together for a better tomorrow. Because when the man and the woman is not there, the children will take over. Have you remembered and have you seen that when the husband and the wife die, the children become useless along the street? But when there was a godly marriage, you can go and make things well. And finally, a godly marriage is a marriage that the guiding word in the marriage is we. In a godly marriage, the guiding word in the marriage is we. The focus in the marriage is us. And the ruling goal in the marriage is acting for the betterment of the other. Anytime that the word we and us go, then there is a problem. I learned a lesson from Songs of Solomon chapter 8. The Bible says in verse 9 and 10, when that girl was talking about set me as a shield upon your arm, love is as strong as death, many water cannot cover, many this and many that, he made a statement. He said, we have a little sister. But this was the sister to the woman. But he said, we, bringing in the husband into the thing. Woman, have you been bringing in your husband into the sin of what you are doing? If you're a man, listen to me as a husband. Do you bring your wife into the system? I say the guiding word in the marriage should be we. He said, we have a little sister and she has no breast. What will we say when they ask him for the breast? And the man also turned, if she be this, we will make a cedar. Let a guiding word in the marital home be we. Let's go here. Let's do this. Not I want to do that. After all, is it not for the betterment of all of us? No, it is not so. Not only the guiding word, the focus word is us. Us. That will make the man not to go to the market and buy too much for himself, and then the woman, he will not buy anything for the woman. Us. We. Us. And generally, we act towards the benefit of another person. That's the beginning of it when we want to talk about a mentality for marriage, a mentality of transforming. We have been cheating one another. A lot of time, married people cheat one another in the sense, well, it's my wife. He can buy certain things for somebody outside, but for the wife, he will not. We cheat them. After all, my money is your money. No, let her feel the impact of what you are doing so that that can help. I will move from there to go into the issue of tips to successful marriage. Tips to successful marriage. What are those things that can really make our marriage to be successful if we are to make it well? That is from my book, Enjoying the Marriage of Your Dream. Because I wrote this book based on the fact that I was burdened that many people have a dream on marriage and they could not actually see the dream come to fulfill. How do we enjoy the marriage of our dream? I said the following tips. Tip number 1, have a strong mutual commitment with one another. If you are to really enjoy the marriage of your dream, have a strong mutual commitment together. Let us be mutually committed. Man, as the woman is taking care of your food, your everything that you are doing, also know the area that she has a need to meet those needs also. Mutual, agreeing together. We make sure that all of us are thinking the same way and doing the same thing. Number 2, build solid friendship or friendship in yourself rather than in the outside. If we really want to make the marriage to be what it ought to be, let's build solid friendship, solid one. Not to say, well, after all, you are my own, but I have a friend. I have, that type of, I think that they say there are about 25 types of friends as far as life is concerned and so on. We are not concerned about that. But solid friendship is important that we build. Please, even if your husband don't love you very well, strive to build friendship. You can overcome his weakness by your strength. He can overcome your weakness by his own strength. Build friendship. And as we build friendship, friendship would make it go well. Number 3, be in love and stick together with one another. I have seen that one of the tie marriage together is love. That's why I have written more and talked more on the issue of love. And sometimes when it lost out of love and end into lust and end in sex. All these are the things we must know. Let us be here and be sure we be and be in love and stick together with one another. Where there is love, it will be very difficult for planning of evil. Where a woman senses love, because women know more when to see that a man loves him. Men are flattered by love of the women because women are embedded with love. And men try to love. The women are those who know how to love. We try to love by giving money, by doing this, by talking good things. So let's be here and make sure we love and build a sticking together. As we do that, it will help, because these are the tips for success. And we go there. I made a statement here. Love will keep you together and help you to be able to make the other one laugh at last. There's some time in our marriage as we grow up, from 5 years to 10 years. The first stage of marriage is the first 1 year. The second is the first 2 to 3 years, or 3 to 5 years, how it goes. The next is 5 to 7 years, and so on and so on. There are certain things that we're running away from fighting about. When we grow into 20, 25 years, we come to see those things were foolish play, and we can change. So when we get into this, we see ourselves going well. And I say, if we really want to sustain ourselves in love, respect each other's emotional, spiritual, social, and psychological. Please, let us respect each other's spiritual needs. If you want to pray, say, leave this prayer here. Let us come and have fun. Let us come and have sex together. After all, if it is time to pray, let's pray. One thing I have seen that doesn't even demand prayer is sex. Nobody even sit down and then say, okay, shall we pray? Oh God, teach us how to have sex with my partner. Nobody will do that. But the aspect that we are talking here is the issue of respecting each other's spiritual position. If it's prayers, let's pray together. Let's study the word of God together. Let's live together, and it will help and work with us. The next one is keep your promises. Keep your promises. There are 2 words I'm saying there. Keep your primacy and keep your promises. There's what we call the primacy of importance and the primacy of intellect. The primacy of importance is the valuable things you must do to build the home well. But the other primacy is the fanciful thing of what we see and what we do. Let's keep the primacy, and let's also keep our promises. Have you told your husband, I will do this tomorrow? Especially at the time of you are tired, you cannot do what you should do. I say, I will do it tomorrow. Let's make sure we do it. Man, are you such a person that tell your wife, oh, that thing I'll give that morning, tomorrow? By tomorrow, you say, I've forgotten. And the worst people that if we don't keep our promise with them, they have problem is our children. If you tell a child, I will come back with biscuit to you, and then you come back without that biscuit, that child have noted you as a liar. So let us keep primacy and let us keep promises so that we can now see how we can make the home to be what the home to be. And the next one as a tip is learn to listen. Give your partner time alone, and then achieve the purpose with patience. Let us not feel that we are so occupied. I talk to our men. Every time we are filled with activities, A woman will want to talk anything to you in the evening, you say, no, it is, I just come back from work. And you go down to lie down on the bed to pray and also to sleep. And the woman say, okay, this time around, let us do. So say, no, I want to sleep. In the middle of the night, the woman said, let's talk that thing. You say, don't you understand that I'm going to work tomorrow? And the next thing, always postponing. There will be a time the woman will so annoyed and bring you into trouble. Therefore, let's try to listen to one another and make sure we do what we ought to do. And I say support and trust your partner. Thank God, others have talked about the issue of trust. When we don't trust one another, we keep suspecting one another, and we quarrel for what we don't quarrel for. I want to say to all men, that woman is not only beautiful to you. Somebody else have seen her, is eyeing her beauty. I want to say, women, that man is not only handsome to you, somebody else is also ending the handsomeness. Therefore, what we can do is not the accusation, but the protecting of the interest and seeing that things go the way it should go. Learn to compromise sometimes. Those are some of the tips I want to say. Learn to compromise sometimes. It is not the win-lose. That sometimes you can come down and then allow it to work. You know, the way that person say, submitting as a one to another in the fear of God. That is to say, don't want to win every time. There are times you submit so as to gain. And there are times the other person submits so as to gain. But when everybody wants to have it, you see, it will not work. Learn to submit. And when that is done, we are now gearing towards
Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for your patience for waiting. I know the computer is funny sometimes, but we will get there. So while you are still waiting,
should be. I come to the next, and that is being my queen. Hello?
Hello? Yes, continue, sir.
Okay. Okay. I want to say that in our marriage, this will also be for those who are not married and those who are married. Who is a wife material?
Wow.
And who is a husband material? Because many people say, I want to marry, but they don't have the quality of a wife material or a husband material. That is from my book, Being the Best in Marriage. And I feel somebody can become the best in marriage. Let me spell out. If you see that this is not your portion, go and then learn how to become the quality of a husband material. The type of a man a woman will want to marry. In the other book, I put it that way. The type of a man a woman will want to marry. And the type of a woman a man will want to marry. But a husband material, I say here, should be one who has, a husband material is a man who is, number one, a carrier of God's image. If you are to be a husband material, you must be a carrier of God's image and likeness. No matter how a woman will respect you, when the fear of God is not seen on you, when the glory of God is not upon you, that woman will still bring you down. So the first thing we must do, remember the Bible said God created the man in his image and likeness. If we want to do Bible exegesis, if you remember, God created the man in his image and likeness. He made the woman out of the man. And so a man is expected to project the image and the likeness of God. And that's what attracts a woman to a man. When he said this woman, man, will have the fear of God. A husband material is a person that carries the image of God. Number two, a husband material is a person that is a carrier of God's breath. The Bible said God breathed into the nostrils of man, and man became a living soul. What was that breath? Life. A husband material is a man that carries life, that talks life, that acts life, and that is active in his way. If you are like that, women will look for you, and they will get out of their way in order to see, this is the one I catch, this is the one I want. And it's an attractive thing. Some young people you want to marry, and then you say, make sure first that you become what a woman will want to go to. A husband material is a carrier of God's glory. Do you hear the Bible say to the wife that their husband is their glory? A glory for the man. When the man is living well, you bring the honor to the woman. You bring the honor to the family. So you must be a carrier of God's glory. This is spiritual perspective when we talk about marriage and when we talk about being a man to marry. The next one is that the husband and the husband material should be the head of the wife. What do I mean by that? You should know more than your wife. You should be there at the top. One day I was talking about the head. And I said, if you say you are a man, at least when you cut the neck here, they say this is the head. If you start to look at that, you can understand. Let me explain this, even if I may want to stop here. The head carries the neck. And that is to say, if you say you are a man and you are the head of the house, you should be ready to carry the load of the family. That is the head. When you leave the neck and you come to the mouth, you should be able to speak for the family as the mouth of the family. Inside the mouth is the tongue. The tongue detects of the good and the bad that comes into them. If you are not a man that can detect the sweet from the bitter things that comes into the body, you are not yet a man. So you must be the tongue of the family. You leave the mouth to the nose. You come to see here. The nose breathes in carbon or oxygen and send out carbon dioxide. If you are a man and you cannot do the selective things of what you want to happen in your family, and you send out what is not there, or is there, you are not a man. You live from there and you see the eye from still in the head. The eye sees what is going on. If you cannot be able to see far, the foresight and the inside, you are not yet a man and you are not yet for marriage. And you know, when you leave the eye here, you come to the brain in the head. The brain is the thinker. If you are a man and you say, I want to marry, if you cannot be able to think for the family, you understand what is going on, you bring a better idea, it will not work. And you even like my hair here, white hair here, the hair here bring the glory. So you must also be the beauty and the glory of your home. If you see that, remember, the ear is part of the head. If you cannot listen to the voice of your family, you are not yet a man. So take the head and measure whether you are a man or you are not a man. Because when we understand this, it will help. You are the head of your wife. And if you are the head and a woman see all those things, you can speak for the family, you can detect the test, you can breathe in good breath and send out carbon dioxide, you can listen, you can think, and you can show the beauty, then you are a man. And I say congratulations. But let me go to the white material. Others are there. I will tell you, a white material. If you say you are a girl or you are in the marital home, and you don't see yourself in this way, then you are not a wife. You may not get a husband to marry. You may only marry those who will throw you off the next day. Number one, a wife material is a woman who is, number one, a help meet for the husband. I clearly differentiate that word as far as the Bible is concerned. He said, I will make him a help meet. The proper biblical exegesis, I will make him a help that meets his purpose. I will make him a help that is able to be suitable to what it is. Every wife should be a helper that suits the husband's demand, desire, and what he's doing. I'm making a help meet for him, not a help meet, a help meet for him, a help suitable, a help qualified, a help that can really bring a turnaround. So, my dear sisters, you are a help that meets. The question is, have you met the need and the thing that is going on? Because I know psychologically, every person has a vacuum. The man has a vacuum in his life that the wife should come and fill. And the woman has a vacuum in her life that the man should come and fill. If that is so, we say it is good. Number two, a woman, a wife material should be one who has, the Bible says, a good thing from God. The Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing from God. A wife material is a good thing from God. That when a man marries you, he will not feel, I made a mistake. You become a good thing. A good thing cannot fight. A good thing cannot quarrel. A good thing cannot poison. So these are the things that when a man can look at that and see a woman in words, in actions, and behavior, showing the aspect of goodness, he will want to do every what he can in order to marry. A wife material is a gift from God. Thank God for many of our mothers here. who are gifts from God, and they see beyond the marriage, and they are now doing things to affect others. That's what is expected. A white material is a desire of the husband's eye. That's where beauty comes in now. That's where the kind of dress you dress comes in now. That's where the grooming comes in now. The Bible says in that Ezekiel 24, God told Ezekiel, I'm going to take away the desire of your eye. I want all the women here to know, and all the girls, you are the desire of the man's eye. He wants to see your beauty. He might just look at you as you, God, you know, you are very ordered, you move and go. He's a marry and say, you are my girl, the woman I marry. But when you are like one tombstone, and you are there and going like that, you see the woman, the man will now begin to look somewhere else. So are you the desire of your husband's heart? And that may call for the actual aspect of the activity and the life they are living in the house. A white material is the glory of the man. That's 1 Corinthians 11:7. Is the glory of the man. You do things that good news is coming to the home because of what you are doing. A man's only portion on earth. Do you see what the Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes 9? It said, rejoice with the wife of your youth, for he is the only portion. I have come to realize a man may have material, he might have money, he might have building, might have everything, but the only thing that will stand with the man throughout is the wife. The children will come, grow up, they leave the house. The property may be taken away. It's only the woman who will stick with the man until life parts. If you have clothes, somebody can come and take, but nobody will take your wife while you are there. So, woman, I want us to know you are the man's property, the only portion on earth. Therefore, whatever we can do, we should do. There are many other ones, and I want to say, so that I can close here. According to 1 Kings chapter 1, the white material is what we can call the husband life and image, and the husband's source of refreshment. If this is what we are talking about, then let's come into one most important thing, and that is the core problems we have in marriage. I took time to discover, and please, if you discover any of them, we can share together and talk together and know what to do. The core issues, time I strive as much as we can to give answers and solutions to this. If you have problem in any of one we want to mention now, tell it to our queen. She will contact us and will tell you what to do. I've come to see that one of the core problems in marriage is the husband's personal ego and dominating attitude, which will not allow the woman to have a say in the home. It's a core issue. The man's or husband dominating ego and domineering attitude, where he will not allow the woman to say anything. Because I marry you, you should be seen and not be heard. I know some women love that. I just want to be seen, not to be heard. But if you are a man and you have a dominating or safe ego and dominating attitude, you will not get the best out of that woman. Because women have their short, what we call a short-in switch. A woman can be open to talk and talk and talk. If you see that you are not interested, she lock herself up and close the mouth and will never say that again. So if that is so, there must be this aspect of understanding. What do we do when there is that aspect? This develop in them insensitive spirit, whether the man or the woman, insensitive spirit. Are we really flowing, or do we have ego? The man ego, the woman ego. It will not build anything at all. Another core issue in marital relationship is the wife who often demand for her right and freedom to act certain things without even the husband's interference. No permission, no negotiation, no talk at all. She wake up and do whatever he does. If you do that, you see that marriage is going to end, and you want to be there. Another issue I've seen where we need to work together because of what we are saying here is the issue of sex, sexuality, and the lack of being satisfied. We cannot talk about marriage without sex. We cannot talk about marriage without satisfaction. Because why there are a lot of men looking for other way, women going to others, because when they are there, they are not satisfied. And since they are not satisfied, they look for what should satisfy them. And so we say sex, sexuality, and the lack of being satisfied by the spouse, including how often and how denied. I know sometimes when it comes to marital issue and people come to me and ask questions, I say marital issue should be a discussion. How many times? How long? What modes? Whatever and however. We are not ashamed to say this because we know it's one of the things that makes marriage be what it should be. You can't exonerate sex from marriage. And we cannot preach holiness and righteousness and talk about all that and spirituality without sex. A pastor with all the anointing can come and fight in the household because the wife have denied sex. So let's look at that. How do you handle sexual issue in your house? What consideration do we make? What agreement have we made it to be? Woman, you that accept, is it every day? Some women will take the husband, is it a food? Yes, it's a food. It's way to eat. And man, the issue of sexual relationship, sexual activity, and abstinence and whatever should be an agreed thing. What of in times of sickness? What of in times of problem? How do we do it? Another thing that I have to do, in which I want us to work on, is finance. Finance control and daily management of this way, and see that there are problem suggestion. Who controls separate accounts? What of they just do like this? This thing must come into a point of thinking and knowing, take care of them, they bring trouble to us. And number 5, I said here, the lack of willingness or refusal to take up or assist the other partner in responsibility. A man can see the wife want to do something, and she has the, or he has the money to give. He will not, until the woman will come and beg and kneel down and promise sex and promise food and promise it before the man. You are not a husband. You are only a horse. The barn have left. If we are to be what we need to be, then we must look into all these aspects. Another problem we see is childlessness. When the child is not there, how do we handle? These are things that we can talk about and we can answer the question on how to handle them. The other one is the issue of lack of understanding individual temperaments, because that's important. If I'm a sanguine is somebody who can make everybody laugh here, he can make friends with people, but a choleric is somebody who is so stern, so authoritative. When you go to a melancholy, is somebody who can delay something. You talk to him today, he say, well, I will get back to you. Let me study what you are saying. He cannot give you the answer at the same time. And then a phlegmatic is somebody who is, yes, whatever you say, I stand by you. When we see those ones, there is a need to understand and study one another so we can make things go the way it should go. Every other things are there. So let us see the way how we can make our marriage be what our marriage ought to be. And I know when we do this, it will actually help us. Then I want to ask a question. It's only that we cannot talk to one another. I asked somebody a question. I said, what happened if you have a husband that believes in 1 + 1 is 1, but is still keeping secret? He doesn't tell the wife. And the wife believes 1 + 1 is 1, but there are still certain things that he gave. How do you handle that case? If you come to a situation when the partner is very, very handsome as a husband, but no, the head, no, nothing there for head. Only humility or handsomeness is there. No sense. It does all kinds of nonsense. Woman, how do you handle that situation? And you come to a situation where the partner is brilliant, but look so serious in everything. He will not listen. He will not take any order. He want to say my own stand. How do you do it? What do we do it? When you have all these things, I believe our queen will connect us to give an answer. If you have a partner that is very lovely, loving, carry you along, but he cannot satisfy you in bed. He can give you all the money, but it cannot satisfy you in bed. What do you do? There are answers to this question. If you have a partner who is illiterate, but is promising, is industrious, is doing well, though it doesn't know anything, but the cash is there. And you, the other partner, you are rich, you are educated. How do you go with her or him? When it comes to public meeting, do you keep him aside and go the other way and say, no, let nobody know who my wife or who my husband is? There are issues that we must make our marriage be what marriage should be. I do this because these are the practical things that we face day by day in marriage. And when the partner invests on energy and time, on TV, on show, on things, and forget about the care of the children, what happened in that situation? Other aspects could be there. You will ask the king and he will tell you what to do. And finally, I want to say so that I can answer questions, if questions will really come. There is this issue that is important that we need to talk about. I call it symptoms of a sick marital relationship. The symptoms. If you realize this has happened in your marriage, that your marriage is sick. And then here in Nigeria, we say, if symptom persists after 2 days, consult the physician. And there are things that we see here that can make you sick. I will not mention all of them, but they are all 40 together. Number one, when you cannot love your partner again the way you loved before, it's a symptom. When it comes to a point in your life that you try to love that your wife or that your husband, but you see the thing is still going down, it's a symptom of a sick marital relationship. And there is a need to look for an answer. One day I was looking at Songs of Solomon chapter 7. That woman made a statement. He said, while I was considering the things about my husband, somebody else come into my mind. I begin to love that person more than the husband that I married. The same thing with me. There are certain times that symptom comes in, and then you see somebody else now attract your interest, and their interest is no more in their partner. When that comes, know that that marital relationship is sick and you need a healing. The second sign of such is when even as you live together and sleep together in bed, you did not love the other person as before. You lie down together, you eat together, you walk together, but you know this man, I don't love him. This woman, I don't love her at all. What do we do in that case? When you see that it is sounding an alarm, you must do something about it. Look for a marital counselor who will tell you, no, this is what to do, what to do, what to do, so that it can help. If there is an experience when you do not understand your spouse again, it's a signal of a marital sickness, that you don't understand your husband again. You don't understand your wife again. The way you knew him is another thing. The way you knew her is another thing entirely. That marital relationship is sick. When you have strong reason to doubt your spouse, is another sign to show that that marriage is sick. You have strong reason. You have some evidence to show that that marriage is not what's supposed to be. Maybe some people will use phone, and then the other person will talk and say, "This is straight out." And please, if you know if it happened, know that that marital relationship is sick and it needs quick action to be taken. I think it needs emergency ward to go to. The other aspect is when a partner is not excited by the companionship of the wife or the husband. If you don't feel happy again to walk with your husband on the road, you don't feel happy to walk with your wife and hold your hands on the road, that marriage is sick. Because one of the joy of marriage a woman wants is to see the husband hold her hands and then they move together like small children. It makes them happy. But when you don't see, whether you're a man or a woman, you don't see the need, you don't see the excitement to hold your hands, to work together, is a signal of a sick marriage. And then what we need to do is to ask, what do we do? And when, like number 8, I see here, when spirituality is placed high to the extent that the mental and the emotional aspect of marriage is forgotten. I want to say to all the husbands and all the wives, especially women, you people are very, very spiritual. Every time we should pray, let us pray, let us pray. When spirituality has overtaken the aspect of the genuine free moving, that you forget about the emotional, you forget about all, whether it's a man or a woman, that marriage go. You need to go to emergency ward. So comfortable in that home. So what is going on? That will be for now. If this is what we are seeing, how then can we actually enjoy our marriage? We're supposed to be actually what we should talk now. How then can we enjoy a blissful home? How can we enjoy what we can say this is the marriage that we have? I would say, let us go back to what we said last time. Let us go into the aspect in the material that we have for this program, because as I promised us, by God's grace, we will actually bring out the detail of what we are talking. How do we conclude the issue of marriage? I say, if we are to do well, then let's begin from number 1. To keep our marriage alive, number 1, maintain your love, your respect, and your hope for one another. If marriage is to work, this announced solution: maintain your love, your respect, and your hope for one another. It is important. When you maintain that, your heart will be settled. Even when the storm is coming, when you maintain it, it will help you to weather the storm. Number 2, keep romance alive. Talk about sex and talk about love making. Keep romance alive. Just play with one another. Everybody, a man love that. We know women have an aspect of their interest in sex. Men have their aspect of the interest. But make sure you keep romance alive. Talk about sex together. What you don't understand, what you don't feel, discuss.
I think you are breaking up now. We can't hear you, sir. Maybe you need to repeat that one. Okay. I think we're missing. I think we've missed it all. We've missed the last one.
The Bible says marriage is honorable. That day that the neighbor will stop on you on
we
as
miss,
a man person.
Sir, we
okay,
miss.
we need to talk about keep romance alive. Anything that you do about keep romance alive. Okay, where do we stop?
Yeah.
I was handling keep romance alive.
Yes.
Talk about sex. Okay. So what I was saying is that in this aspect, if we really want to be fresh for one another, because what men
I think you need to round up now because it's really breaking. Sir, it's really breaking now. We need to round up. I'm so sorry about this. It's the connection and it's really affecting.
About the issue, there are sometimes some people say it doesn't even need anointing. Say that if we must actually make all, let's have a. God bless you. I want to hear questions so that you will have it in time to come.
Yes, because I think we are breaking up now. Any questions? Any questions before? Because I think the internet is now distracting or is still disturbing. Okay, one question, sir. Okay, one question quickly. I don't know what to call. That is from Emmanuel Charles. I don't know what to call it, but a lot of couples today, especially the women, sorry to use that emphasis, believes there shouldn't be a third party in their relationship and marriages, even when things are going wrong. What do you advise, sir?
All right. It's not even the women. Men are the one who hate third party more than women. One thing is this: there is a choice of third party. Is he a godly person or is he a family member? Is it a marriage counselor or just a preacher? Is it a pastor or not? Because everything
Okay, I think even the questions, sir, we can't hear you at all. So I will need to send the questions to you privately to answer because we can't hear you at all. Okay, we can't hear him at all. So we will need to send the questions to Reverend to answer that. But meanwhile, we need to move on quickly to the next speaker.